And a very good evening to all my viewers. It is right now, what are we? It's, Friday, December 30th, 2022. It's 1:54 p.m. We're here at the corner of Notre-Dame and de Courcelle Street in Saint-Henri, the Saint-Henri district. And I'll just pan around here. I think this used to actually be an old fire station at one point. Looking over here, judging by the design of the building. But this is for my viewers out there that may not have been in Saint-Henri or Saint-Henri for the last little while. Maybe a couple of decades ago, maybe sooner, maybe later. This video may surprise you depending on how long you've been away. So this isn't Saint-Henri as, depending on, like I said, how long you've been away. This isn't Saint-Henri as you know it in the 70s, 80s, 90s. A lot of, I think the term is gentrification. Perhaps right here used to be a bar or an old-fashioned dépanneur. Here's a garage. Got a Mini Cooper there, I think. But as we make our way east, and that's the way we're walking here on Notre-Dame Street, you may notice some differences depending on, like I said, the era you grew up in and when you were last here or whatnot. So basically, I think in the 80s, 90s, Saint-Henri used to be known as an area that was really run down, and I think it was full of gangs, whether it was biker gangs or street gangs. And in fact, look at this building right here. This is probably a good representation of what your typical building in Saint-Henri used to look like. And contrast that to now. Here's what your modern day Saint-Henri building looks like. So probably someone's waiting to buy this building and whatnot. But I'll let you observe, I'll let you judge, my viewers, as we walk, as I said, in the east direction here. Probably film all the way to Atwater. And I was just coming back from a friend's place. He showing me pictures of his latest trip to Uganda, where his background is. Here's Sir George Etienne Cartier Square, which is basically a park. So this area right here is obviously pretty much frozen in time. This is an old church that used to be here. You can see there's a phone booth across the street. But you will see as we continue, there are certain businesses that closed down over the years and have been replaced by more modern businesses. Businesses that may have been converted to residential, vice versa. This is an old Desjardins bank that has withstood the test of time. Very old style of architecture. Yeah, and this is a bank that's been there for quite a while. Here's some old apartment buildings, triplexes, 3 floors that have also been here for quite a while. They have also withstood the test of time, but mostly, I'll be honest, a lot of them have probably been gutted from the inside and converted to more modern housing. Here's a building as well that could have been a residential area at one point, a residential building, but has been converted to a bar. Or it could have been probably a business at some point, but an older style business. Here as well as some buildings that have been recently renovated. You can tell just by looking at the windows, at the signage, at Baudouin, Rue Baudouin Street. And as I mentioned, you know, as a viewer, you can make the decision yourself, depending on when you've last been here, or maybe you've never been here, but you just want to see what the neighborhood looks like. Uni Burger, I think this is a modern day burger place. And over here is Habitat for Humanity, which I believe is a second-hand store for basically lighting or home appliances, renovation supplies. I think they've been here for a while. There's a dentist, also could have been here for a while, but as you pan upwards, you'll see à louer, which means for rent. So this building could be looking for people to rent apartments to. Even these side streets, you know, I'm just focusing on the main street in this video, but if you look at the side streets, a lot of these buildings, you could tell some of them have been renovated, modernized. This one here. But if you go further down, deeper, you can actually see there's an old dépanneur down there. Another business that may have withstood the test of time. So again, it all depends on what building you're looking at and whatnot. As we approach some train tracks now, and if I sound a little off, it's because I am getting, I think, another cold, unfortunately. Started getting symptoms earlier today, so decided to go for a little walk tonight. Visit a friend that just came back from Uganda, and decided afterwards, you know what, I'm gonna walk home from his place and get some fresh air in the process. So here is St. Philip Street, the corner of Notre-Dame, another building that seems to be either rebuilt or modernized. Here's a building that's under construction right now. Try to make our way here to the, like I said, the train tracks, and another building that's for sale. In this case, this one, à vendre means for sale. But look at here, we have some graffiti on these windows. So it's really, like I said, it's amazing how not just each block is different, but each area of each block is different. Look at this, we have an old historical sign here from the 1920s. Tells you what used to be in this building. John's Restaurant, apparently. At one point it was called. Now look at this, we have a modern business here. But look, à louer. Says they're local business. 750 square feet, I believe it says. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it depends on the time, depends on the era. A lot of things going on from the real estate perspective and historical perspective, if that makes sense. All right, so we're coming up here to the train tracks. So as we come down here, this is more or less the heart of Saint-Henri, past these train tracks here, which you're going to see in a minute. Now you can't see it from here, but the Place Saint-Henri metro station is in this vicinity if you want a reference point. Interesting quotes that are often written on these tunnel walls. Sometimes they're actually worth a read. Alright, so here we are coming up to, I guess you could say, the east side of the tracks. Yeah, and of course, if you've lived in Saint-Henri, or you know someone that has, or you visited, or you do live in Saint-Henri still, or whatever the case may be, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your stories. I know I have a couple of viewers that either live here or did live here at one point. There's a fire station right there, which is going through renovations, hence why it has that temporary tent. And by the way, there's only one truck in there. It's a pumper truck. There's an IGA. So again, we'll make our way at least close to Atwater. And if you're interested in the buses that are in this vicinity, well, here's a bus stop for you transit fans. Put the flash on. Alright, so we got the 35, 36, and 191. These are all going in the west direction, which is of course that way. Yeah, so we got some businesses here that are completely closed, boarded up. Here's a La Belle Province. Now this La Belle Province, of course, is a very famous Quebec institution. And I'm surprised to see it here because these types of restaurants are actually closing down and they're being replaced by, I guess you could say, the upper class type restaurants or whatnot. This here, very famous building, was an old theater at one point. Looks like it's for sale, but this has been here for quite a while, so they're having a hard time selling this building. But I wonder if it has any historical protection, seeing that it's a very old theater. And you can tell it was an old theater just by the siding here. That's where probably the theater name was and the movies that were playing. I can tell you right now, this building's been here for a while. Not necessarily the building, but the store. A lot of uniforms in here, construction, nursing, you name it. So that's been there for a while. Meanwhile, you look just a little bit next door. This one, you can tell, very new. This IGA has been here for a while as well. Alright, so we are coming up now to check the streets. Chemin de la Station, so Station Road, basically. Not sure of the significance of that name because, well, there's no metro station and there's no train station here. By the way, for those that are curious, Westmount is in that direction. You can actually see it from here, just to the north. Alright, so yeah, we're coming closer and closer to Atwater. What are we, 13 minutes in, almost 14 minutes in. So yeah, this is just a chunk of Saint-Henri right now. Look at this. This clinic here. This is a government building, but look at this writing, this graffiti. Now here is, I believe, used to be an underpass, pedestrian underpass, but I don't think people use it anymore. I'm not sure if it's closed off or just unsafe. So we're at St. Augustine Street. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to cross at crosswalk, and I'm going to show you something coming up here. This here looks like a newer building. Notice this beam right here. You'll see that in a lot of modern condos or whatnot. This Dollarama, well, this has been here for about a decade or so. But right here, this is what I wanted to show you. This used to be a garage at some point. You could tell just by looking at it. Not sure what garage it was. Not sure if it was an Esso or independent repair shop. But yeah, it's now abandoned. But they did put this little mural here to kind of integrate a bit of art into the look of it. Here's a pet store. Now this looks, right here, this looks like an older style dépanneur. They could have been there for a while. Now we're coming up to, I call it the bar district. You're gonna see a lot of bars here, taverns, pubs. Look, a lot of these have been here for a while as well. Some have been rebranded. There's a pharmacy, Jean Coutu. This here is a dry cleaner. Try to zoom in. I think this dry cleaner has been here for a while, but look, it's not there anymore. Because, well, look at that paper and that graffiti on the window. So yeah, it's a very interesting neighborhood. I mean, basically where we're walking right now is more or less between Place Saint-Henri Metro and Lino Gru. Here's another restaurant and bar. Yeah, this one looks like it's an older style. Look at this. You can tell just by looking at the window. Older style restaurant. There's a couple of these that are around here that I will tell you have that authentic old style eatery taste. And we're going to conclude the video at a very famous one. And then of course you have your typical corporation, fast food corporations down here. You got Domino's, we got a Tim Hortons coming up. There's another abandoned business right here. You could tell just by looking at the graffiti and also the fact that there's paper on the wall. Here's another one for rent. Like I said, you know, this is the thing about this neighborhood. It varies between not just block to block, but business to business, building to building. You might find a fancy restaurant like this on one side of a building, but then the next you might find an abandoned business. Here's a Tim Hortons, obviously very famous fast food chain here in Canada. Here's a financial business. I don't know if they do taxes. I'm not saying it's a scam, but I can tell you right now, when businesses offer to rebuild your credit, you know there's a catch somewhere. Here's a comic book store. Crossover Comics. I wonder if these guys are going to get in trouble with the language police. Because I think there's a rule you can't have English on signs. Another pet store. These ones are focused on cats. Felinus. Oh, look at this. We got a Buffalo Bill Wings restaurant. It says here, Ouverture bientôt. That means opening soon. Here it is in English. Who knows how long this sign has been here. Even these residential buildings, look, they have graffiti on them. Judging by the crowd over here, looks like it's a popular establishment. There's a bicycle store, by the way, across the street. I tell you, when you mention the word diverse neighborhood, this is as diverse as you get. Look at this. You have a house here in the middle of commercial buildings. Look at this. Out of the middle of nowhere, you have this cool building right here. Completely residential. Fascinating. Here's another empty, vacant business. I'm just, you know, right now going through different businesses as we walk. Here's another establishment, Pizza, corporate. These ones, I don't know if they're corporate or not. This Sergakis. This is like a business group. Owns a lot of bars. It's a very popular group here in Montreal. They own a lot of businesses here in Saint-Henri. So here we're starting to get to, I call it the preserved quarter, because if you look here, these are restaurants that have been here for a while. This is New System Barbecue. Man, let me tell you, I could use a poutine right now, but I'm not going to give in to my temptations. And here, as we approach Atwater, well, I saved the best for last. This here, to all my viewers, is called Restaurant Greenspot. And just by looking at it, you can tell this is for sure a restaurant that has preserved the test of time. Probably the champion of champions that have withstood the test of time. I'm going to cross the street here and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. We're going to take a little peek inside and then we're going to wrap her up in about a minute or two, probably less. So just by looking at the outside, how many restaurants do you know that have that Coke logo on the sides? Very rare to see. Also the old style French fries, hamburger logo. But now we're going to look here inside, take a little peek. We're not going in, but we're going to look through the windows. And you can tell just by looking, look how authentic this is. Completely authentic restaurant. At least 100 years old, possibly more. Beautiful to see, and let me tell you, their poutines are amazing, even in modern times. Look at these old-fashioned fryers, old-fashioned restaurant equipment. And then over here, of course, you have a butcher shop. I've actually been in here. Bought some sausages, I believe. A couple of other goods. I must say, it's actually pretty decent. There's a Telescudo, which is a cell phone provider. And finally, we got a gas station here, Petro-Canada. This has been here for a while. This bank, well, another Desjardins Bank, also been here for a while. And finally, we are at Atwater. So look, yeah, you know, like I said, I hope you enjoyed that video. And oh yeah, this used to be a Thai Express, didn't last long. Even the big corporations sometimes don't last long, the big fast food eateries. In fact, this used to be La Belle Province. I have no clue what's in here now. You want to see a look at the prices of some of these meals? Look at that. Let's take a look here. I'll try to translate. Spaghetti, home style spaghetti, $29. Eggs, you want some eggs? $16. Back in the day, this used to be a restaurant that served breakfast for $2.99, $4, $5. But anyways, all right, so thank you all for watching. As I always say, if you like what you see, please hit subscribe, please hit the like button, turn on the notification bell, and as always, more videos to come. Have a good night.